Hey guys, so you remember this application? This is the one with context, hooks, and Firebase. So, okay, what I'm going to do now, okay, is working. This is the finished application. So I want to show you something. So let's say a second post, something like that. Because you know that there is something missing with this, let me get one image and create post. So we only get this loader, okay, and we only display request is being processed right now. Okay, so once that is done, we get redirected to the main page. But what I want to do now is to add the process, the percentage, so the user knows that it's working. Okay, because if they see only the loading and it takes a lot, because it's a big image or something like that, then the user might think that it's not working properly, okay, that it got stuck for some reason, and they will just go to the main page, and some things could happen, and one of those things could be that the image could not be uploaded, and you will have a square, okay, because this is a div with blank, and when you pass the mouse, okay, the cursor is going to display this little hand, okay, but it will not have an image. It's not a big problem, but could throw off someone. So we need to do several changes. So what I have now is the code, okay, that we were using. So I'm going to open this one on code. We have that already running. So what I was planning was to use hooks, but you will see why I'm not using custom hooks. Okay, this is the same project we had. Okay, and so yeah, I tried to set the upload files here inside the Firebase because it's a Firebase function, but the thing is that I couldn't find a way to make that to work with the component. Okay, I'm not sure if I was doing something wrong. I'm not a big React user, so maybe and I plan to use hooks, but hooks can only be used, so let's go to create, can only be used outside. So something like use state, okay, it can only be used outside here, not inside a function, okay, because you would think that you could use hooks, or that is what I was thinking, inside, so I could call the the function, the create post, or maybe first upload the file using a use upload file, something like that, pass the file, get the loading state, display that in something like this, okay, then pass the URL, because I was thinking that I actually did that, but it wasn't working. Okay, it didn't work because there's something special about hooks that you cannot use, you cannot nest. In theory, you cannot nest a hook inside a function. Okay, so this is not going to work, or that idea wasn't going to work. So I did all that, and I realized that that special rule that hooks had. Okay, so just to explain why I'm not using hooks, but let's start coding, because this is a coding video, and I'm going to remove several functionality. I'm going to rebuild some things. So what I'm going to do is just remove what I have inside this create post. Okay, so let me check my code first because I don't want to mess things up. So yeah, I'm going to remove this, okay, inside the create post, and I'm going to change this to be inside the component. Okay, that's the only way I could let that happen to show the loading percentage. Maybe I could install something like RxJS and pass that stream, but I didn't want to add more complexity into this. So let's just add it like this, and what we're going to do now is inside this create, we're going to say constant file ref, because we're going to pass something to this. So this is not only going to get this, but it's going to get an URL. So this one is going to be an await Firebase that storage that this is a method that ref from URL. We're going to use this, okay, and we are going to pass the URL. So this ref from URL is going to return the reference using a URL that is going to come from Firestore. Okay, so remember that we were storing the URL inside the file ref, but now because we were uploading the file inside this function, but now we need to move it in order to display the changes in the state for the loading state. So we are only going to pass the URL and get the similar to what we were doing here, to get the file reference. Okay, why we need the file reference? Because we want to delete the image when we delete the post, or even when we update. So this is going to change to. Okay, so right now we need to go to the create, and we need to change a few things. So let me go to my create inside my reference, my code reference. So I'm going to rebuild this one, okay, just because. So I'm going to remove all this. Okay, and I said that I was going to move the uploading, because I didn't want to do this actually, but it seems that without installing anything or without doing more complex things, it seems that it's the only viable option. So what I want to say is say event that prevent default. Okay, now we're going to set is busy. I'm going to rebuild all this to true, and below this, because there's also something funny, that is a subscription, okay, or a stream of information what you receive in the loading. So you need to actually do something in order to, okay, to set it into the state. So we're going to prepare here the constant storage ref equals to Firebase that storage that ref, but we don't have this storage because we want this storage inside our to store this, okay, like what we have on the out on DB. So we're going to say something here. Let me check, because I don't want to make if I remember correctly, it's just this that storage equals to Firebase storage. That, so we have the reference here, okay, and we're going to need this inside our component. So now this is a reference to the storage, so we have that, okay, so this should be okay. Now return to the create, continue with this. So we are going to create the storage child equals to storage ref, because we need the reference storage. We need the reference of the storage of the bucket child, and we're going to pass the cover name, because remember that well, I didn't add this, so I'm going to say this. Let this is a variable that we're going to use in a second, so you can name it however you want. So instead of passing the post to the create, okay, inside this config, we're going to also create first this using the title, this object using the title content and cover. Okay, so remember that cover is a file list and we want the first file. Okay, so we're going to pass from this post on line 18 the cover, that is just a file, and we can get the name of that file using that name. From that, the constant post cover. So actually you could just copy what you had there and paste it, but if you remove that, well, it's okay. Let's just type it. Storage ref, sorry, no, storage child, storage child. That put, now here we add the file. Okay, so put is going to upload the file, but if you remember what we did, okay, I can show you inside the config. The edit is still the way it was, so also this is going to change. So sadly we need to move all this to the other to upload the file inside the component and to pass the URL reference and the post inside the Firebase class. So this is actually going to upload, okay, but remember that we need to download the reference in this case, and we were getting the location, the path location, from that downloaded reference that was a URL. Okay, so now what we're going to do is to say await new promise. So this is similar. If you check my Angular and RxJS, okay, with Firebase, if you are into Angular, of course, I did something similar because I didn't want to have that subscription opened, okay, from the file uploads stream, or even when I was retrieving a post or all the posts, sorry. So I decided to set it inside a promise and to do all the subscription inside a promise, okay, and I was taking just the first part of the stream when the first stream was done, and coding the subscription. So we're going to do something similar here. So we need to do the, okay, I already had this, so let me move my mouse, resolve, and we're going to say post cover that on. We have this on method because this is the upload task. Okay, this is going to receive the upload task, so you can see this is the, well, it says it's a reference, but here we can access an event that is on state. Let me move my mouse so you can see on state changed. Okay, and from this we're going to receive a snapshot. Okay, so this snapshot is going to have the values that we need. So we're going to say let progress equals to a snapshot that you can see we can access the bytes transfer, and a snapshot that total bytes. So we're going to divide that and multiply it by 100 to get the percentage, and we need to set something new here. So let's set it below this. Okay, let me just copy because I have it here. So this is the loading. At the set loading, the use state, the default state is going to be just an empty string. So we are going to use this on line 12 here. We're going to set loading, okay, or you could say set process, whatever, to this mat trunk, or you can also say mat trunk inside this, okay, but inside line 33. But let's just add it here, and we're going to pass progress. Now this is a little tricky. We're going to add inside this, okay, an error. So let's call it error, and this is a function also. So if you remember, well, if you know a little bit about Angular and subscriptions, there are several things that we can return inside the subscription. Okay, so you can think of this as a subscription. That's why I'm wrapping it inside this promise, so I can resolve this promise and get the information. Because if I just set this post cover, okay, let me cut this and paste it here. If I say this, okay, this is not good. This is not going to work. So let's paste that. Why? Because all this is being done in a different way. So we are not going to be able to return the URL that we need. Okay. So all this is going to run, and if we set this, and then remember that we need still to pass inside Firebase that add post, we still need to pass that, okay, because we don't have the post created. So when we get to this, if we don't have this await new promise wrapping this, we are not going to be able to return the URL, okay, that is happening or that will happen inside the success. This is the error, and then we're going to have a success. Okay, so let me type it. So we're going to have this, that this is the not success, sorry, but the completed. Okay, after all this, the completed, and here we can access the return of the URL. But if we don't have this wrapped inside a new promise, it's going to pass from here, and sometimes it's going to get this, but it's going to pass from line 29 to line 44, and it's going to say your URL parameter is not defined. Even though we're going to return it here, okay, it's not going to be added because this subscription is is still kind of running, and JavaScript is going to add it inside the event loop. And the event loop is something special that allows to develop applications in JavaScript in this async way. Okay, so this is going to be moved out of the way, and JavaScript is going to say, okay, this is going to take a bit, or this is still doing shit, so let's continue. And here we don't have the value that we need. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this. So I hope you understood that. And here we can console the error. That's the only thing we're going to do here. And here inside the async, we are not going to expect anything to be passed here. Okay, so let me just add a semicolon there. Get this a little closer. And we're going to say constant download URL equals await, because we still need, let me go to config. So this is going to be a kind of explaining everything so you can understand, sorry, what I'm doing. This await, okay, because this is a function and this is going to take some time to do, okay, in order to be done. So we actually need to wait for this to end, and this is what we are doing here, or what we are going to do. That's why we need to set this function, this completed function. So this is the error, and this is the completed. Okay, so await, and while all this while this is happening, okay, and the rest of the code is going to be executed. Okay, so we need just to tell it again, we need to wrap it inside a promise. So it actually waits for all this block to end before it moves to the line 44. So await a storage child. So we need the reference of the child, and we get the download URL method. Okay, so we can access that, and here we're going to say d is going to be equal to download URL. Okay, so we need to actually pass this outside inside this line 19. That's why I have this d. You can call it however you want. I call it d for download. Okay, not for something else. So resolve, and here we resolve, we say okay, everything is done, the sheet is done, we can continue with the code. So we get out of this block to the next one. Okay, but now here we already have defined the download URL that we are going to pass inside the create post. So that I have create post, sorry, the name was create post. So now we can access the D. Okay, we can access the download URL and the post. So this is a promise, and we're going to actually use this promise. So this is going to resolve a post, because remember that we're going to upload, and we're going to return the uploaded post in case you want to see that. But let's just say console.log post, the post that was uploaded, and the set is busy to false, the set redirect to true, and we can catch any error here, error. So we can say console.log error. I hope this sheet works. Set is busy, because we still need to change the edit, false, and console.log, well, we can say console.log error, set is busy to false, and that's it. I just changed the order, so this should work. Okay, let me add some space in there so you can actually see the use effect, the spacing. Okay, so it doesn't get too cluttered. Okay, so we have this, and we are going to pass the URL that we downloaded here into the config that is expecting the create post a URL. Okay, and URL, and we are going to get the reference from that. We can say console.log URL, so you can see what we are getting. Okay, and all this should work. So error is not defined on create.js line 37. Line 37. Okay, error, sorry. So let's try. Download URL is not on line 83. Line 83 on which config.js? Okay. Because this is not going to get, let me just go to my code. Yep. This is not existing now, okay? This is not going to exist inside this code. So what we are getting here is the URL that we downloaded, okay? So we need to change that into this. Okay, so this is the URL that we're going to use, but since we need the reference, we're going to use this reference from URL. It's going to take the URL of the file uploaded. The URL is what is going to allow us to display the image, okay? And the file ref is the actual image. So let's save this, and we have this working. So let's say new post, a new post and test post, choose a file, it opens on my other screen. Let me get this one, open, and let's say F12. Oh, I forgot something, because I already have all that set, but we are not displaying the loading, and that is what we actually want to display inside the create. So let me just take a look. Okay, so I have this. Let me copy this. We are storing that into this loading. Okay, so let's actually try to get that inside this. So let's add a percentage sign, something like that. This is going to, okay, so this was a new post, I think, and this is a test, no, a test. Open file. Let's go to, well, I cannot because this is open, so let me get this one open. Let's go to console. Okay, and let's create post. Let's see if that works. You can see this. Okay, I'm not consoling anything, it seems, but we get an error. What could be? Okay, CreateJS 51. So this is odd. CreateJS 51 is the console link. So here actually is. So this is the error. So it means it's inside this. So let's say to see if you're getting that, let's just add some shit there. Let's use the same image, create post. We can we're going to check if we get the URL. Okay, yeah, document reference that's set called with invalid data, unsupported field value, a custom reference object, custom reference object found in field file ref. So this is actually happening. It seems that it's happening inside this. So let me check my code again, because I can't remember if I did other changes. Oh yeah. Because this is actually okay, let's say location that path, new post, test, choose file. So it's actually uploading the file. We're going to delete that. Okay, just to, but we're going to check if this works, because it was happening inside the you will see. Okay, so we should have 3 images like this in the storage, but that's okay. This is just for testing. So we have this, and okay, we can see that. So let's actually go. So let me go to my Firebase console, and now what we're going to do, we have this already, and we need to add. So let me just remove all these consoles. Okay, save this, all this working. So we actually needed the location path there, and we still need to change this update current post. So we're going to change that in a second. I'm just checking my console. Okay, so let me just close this and close this. It's inside the post, okay, here and here. Okay, so I'm inside this, so let me check the storage. We should have 3 similar images, or okay, I have that I was testing, I have that I was testing. So this is actually not it. Okay, you can see I'm using all anime images. So this is not it, it's the other one. So sorry about that. So that is my reference database that I was checking. If it fucking allows me to go back to my, okay, React context out seems to be. Okay, storage, let me check. Okay, so it didn't upload the images. Well, or let me just refresh. Okay, seems that it was working. I mean that it didn't upload the other images. It found an error and it actually closed that. So that's actually nice. So now I'm just going to leave that shit like that. So let's continue. Now, so we need to actually remove some things from the edit. Let me go to my edit, my update, sorry. And this is not going to be done here. We're going to do similar what we did inside the create. So we are going to do something similar. So we need here again the constant. So let me just copy that. Getting the URL. Okay, just the same thing. But here we are going to pass another parameter just to make it easier. You could add it inside this post data. Okay, so that should work. Everything else should be fine. Okay, so we're going to do the same. Let me just add a semicolon there. So we're going to do essentially the same what we did inside the create, but now inside this. Okay, so okay, everything is fine, so it is busy, all this. We're going to create another let D to store the download. We have this underscore post. Okay, that on my reference it has the ID, but we don't need that. We have that stored in the state. So we're actually going to do, so let me just remove this. Okay, so we can check. We need to actually check inside this. We're checking, okay, we have a file. Do we have a file? If we have a file, let's add this cover and all cover properties. So below this, knowing that we have a file, we're going to upload. So let me just copy all this because it's the same thing we had. Okay, copy and paste. Okay, you could try to turn all this into a function and just return the. You could actually do that. Yeah, but well, let's just continue at it here, and you can just make it better. So we need also the await. So this is actually pretty. This is the same thing. Okay, just so you to. I'm missing something. Sorry, I'm missing the two closing. Okay, that should be okay. Okay. So we check the state change inside this post cover, that is the uploading of the file. We get the snapshot, and from there we get the two information we need, that is the bytes transfer and the total bytes. We multiply that by 100, but before we divide them, Okay, so we can get the percentage, and we store the percentage into a set loading that we don't have here. So let's just copy that and add it. Boom, 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 boom. Let's add it below here. Okay, so we have that. This one is ending here. I need to install the the package, no, the extension that changes the color of this curly braces, so I can see where everything ends. But I forgot the name of that. Okay, so now we are checking. I should take a look at that. So now we are checking, and we are setting again the promise. The promise is being resolved here. That's why we can. The code is going to wait. This is not going to pass to the event loop. Okay. So the code is actually going to wait for this to end, to be resolved, so we can access the information. And now it's just Firebase that update post and the post ID. We have that stored in the state. Sorry, it's not a function. We check then. So remember that you can manage the local state of the component and a global state. Okay, you can do that. It's permitted. So we have the context. Okay, we have the post context and the out context that are kind of global states, and this is just the setting the post ID and all that is the inner state of the component. Is the local state, you could say. Okay, all this. So don't be afraid to use to return something, for example, inside this config, and set it inside this state, because remember that React actually renders things when the state changes. So we actually need to do that step. So then you are going to just say console.log post updated, just like that. So after all this is done, the post is going to be updated. Set is busy to false, and set redirect to true. But we can also catch the error. Here we're just going to say console.log error, and set is busy, because is busy is going to still be true in case this is an error. Okay, because after this returns an error, it's going to just catch that, and we need to actually set it busy to false, so we can check change the file or something like that, whatever happens. So that should actually be it. So let's go to config, and all this should work because we're checking if we have a file, and from that URL we're going to get the okay, and we need to change this. Let me just go to my config. And yes, it's the same. We okay, I was typing there, so let's say URL. This is the URL, and here we need the location path. Location path. So that should be it. If we have a file, it's going to merge that with the file, and if not, it's just going to merge the title and content. Okay, so it says we have an error. Await new promise. Okay, let's go to post, and this is not an async function, so let's say async. Okay, it says again that on line 102 on config storage ref is not defined. 102 config. Config 102 plop. Okay, because we don't have the storage ref here, so we actually need to do a little change. Okay, so this is using this because this is a class that the storage. That's why I kind of like more the class components, because it actually allows you to understand what is going on with all the classes, and you know, all that is reference to how to use and extend the classes. But well, also hooks are easier to use. So now this is going to get a ref. This is a ref method, and all this should be should work. Okay, let's see. We have this. So if I say edit post, and let's just say new post updated, test updated, update post. Okay, I forgot to add that. I'm going to add it. Let's see if that works. That shouldn't take that long because we are not adding another file. So well, that's why I you know, if this keeps going, I don't know what it's doing. Okay, because I don't have something that tells me if this thing is stuck or what. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the okay, I have this, the span that I had before showing the process, because I forgot to add this inside the inside this, so I can see. Actually, let's save that and let's see. It's going to re-render. Okay, a post, new post updated and updated. I'm not passing an image, so let's see. So why? Okay, because there's another. Is there another function that is actually doing that? So let me go to post, process loading. Oh yeah, it's this one. No, it's not that. So what actually is happening here? So this is odd because this shouldn't be happening. So let me go here and database. Maybe my internet is test new post. So this should be the one that is okay, let me go back. Loading post. Okay. So let me clean the cache in case that is doing something. But why it's not showing? So let's say update post. Maybe I did that in the wrong post. Edit. So it should be here. Update form. Request is being processed. Set is loading. Loading. Update current post. And that's actually odd. Okay, let me try something. If not, I'm just going to stop the video and check what the hell is going on, because this shouldn't be. Let me just check my code. I'm checking my code right here on my other screen. Set is PC false, console log. Okay, all this should be. If this is done, I mean, if there's a file, I was checking the wrong code for fuck's sake. Okay, if file, I'm checking the current values. Nice. So set loading, all this should be working. Post cover, okay. Resolve, mat progress, mat trunk, I mean, await the storage child, update post. Okay, so let me actually just get rid of this so I can see. I will try to debug this here. Okay, in case you have that same error. Okay, so let's save this, and this should return without a, you know, so this is stuck there. And why it's not showing the what the hell? Oh, don't tell me that I did all this inside the if. Okay, that's the problem. That's the fucking problem. So let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of this. So all this should be restarted. Okay, edit with updated and updated. Okay, was updated, test updated. So let's actually add another image. Let's see if it displays that. Okay, you can see the percentage. It actually didn't show before because it was too fast. So I will add the percentage sign, and that is going to be it. So if you have that same error, it's because it was inside the if. Okay, it threw me off for a minute, but it was inside this if statement. Okay, it was only checking, okay, if there's a file, we're going to run this and we're going to run this. Okay, and it was because we wasn't, okay, or we weren't adding a file, it got stuck inside this set is busy inside line on line 59, and nothing was clearing that because all this was inside that. So in case we went to add an image, it should have worked, but that's nice. Okay, so it's actually updating. So let's choose another file. We're going to see if it's deleting only that, and that's going to be it. So let me find a fucking image. This one. Update post 0. I forgot to to add that. Let me go to loading, and we add a percentage sign. Let's wait for that to finish. Okay, that is done. So we can actually save this, and all this should be fine. You can, I have this class name process. Okay, let me just add that. My index Okay, it's right in front of me, process. So you can see just a little styling on that index, and let's paste it here. Fuck it. And let's just do one more. Let's just check this. All this should be working. Okay, so let's get to storage. All this should be deleted information. The last, okay. So we still have 3 because we have 3 posts. So let's come back here. Let's say edit post. Let's go to choose file. Let's add again this one. Open and update post. You can see that we have these bigger numbers, so we can see better what is going on. And now we know that this is not stock because we are seeing the process. So yeah, we have that on the create and we have that on the edit. So I think that's it. Yeah, so it was bad luck that I wasn't able to do it the way I wanted with custom hooks, because I thought it was a nice way to get an intro about custom hooks, but we weren't able to, it seems that it's not able to nest it's like if I try to use the use state inside this, okay, it's not going to work. That's the only rule. I think it has another one and some others, but that's the only rule that is going to apply to that. And it didn't allow me to complete what I was thinking. But well, you can always remove all this, add it inside a function, and this resolve, okay, you can add that, say something like async upload file, okay, just like that. You could get a file, and from there you are going to get your new promise and resolve, okay, all this crap. Just let me add this, and inside the completed, let's add this, the completed, you would return and you would say something like that, d equals to the download URL, and return d maybe, or return download URL or something like that, and below here return d, okay, or return download URL, so you can get this outside of the but the thing is, okay, that you will actually need, in order to make this work, you will actually need to maybe install RxJS so you can pass the stream that is coming, okay. And let me go back to post. But because this is the important thing, the set loading inside the state, okay, we need to render that, and that's why I decided to add it here, although it doesn't look very nice, but that's the only option I found. So actually what I was telling you about setting all that inside this, it's not going to work. Okay, so okay, I'm going to finish the video here and see you in the next one.